Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Balsa Williams and with me is Reshma Tiwari with the evening news. The headlines. President Draupadi Murmu says IITians have proven India's capability to the world in fields of education and technology. Union Home Minister Amit Shah chairs 30th meeting of Southern Zonal Council in Kerala, calls upon member states to explore joint solution to water disputes. Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia emphasizes on Jan Bhagidari to encourage people for organ donation. Government to set up country's first ever night sky sanctuary in Ladakh to boost astro-tourism. 5 JDU MLAs join ruling BJP in Manipur. Durand Cup football, Army Red beat Hyderabad 1-0 in Imphal. East Bengal defeat Mumbai City 4-3 in Kolkata. India to lock horns with Pakistan in Super 4 stage Asia Cup cricket in Dubai tomorrow. Match between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan underway in Sharjah. And in US Open tennis, Daniil Medvedev and Nick Kyrgios enter fourth round of men's singles. In women's singles, Serena Williams bows out of tournament. President Draupadi Murmu has said that Indian Institutes of Technology IITs have proven to the world the capability of India in the domains of education and technology. Speaking at the closing ceremony of Diamond Jubilee celebrations of IIT Delhi today, the President said IITs have been the pride of the nation. They have contributed immensely to India's improved standing on the global stage. She added that faculty and alumni of IITs have shown the world India's brain power, and also some of those who studied in IIT Delhi and in other IITs are now at the forefront of the digital revolution sweeping the world. Ms. Murmu noted that the impact of IITs has gone beyond science and technology, and IITians are leaders in every walk of life, including in education, journalism, literature and politics.
The glorious past of this institute gives us an assurance that it will play a crucial role in the future as India enters the Amrit Kal. By 2047, when we will celebrate the centenary of independence, the world around us will have changed drastically thanks to the fourth industrial revolution. I am glad to see so many young women here today. I understand that female students at the IIT Delhi have done wonderful well. Their success motivates more and more girls to consider a career in STEM and break a few more glass ceilings. In making India Atmanirbhar, the contribution of its young women is going to be most critical.
The President noted that the IIT Delhi has always seen itself as part of the larger community and it has been sensitive to its responsibility towards society.
It is all the more heartening to note that the IIT Delhi has always seen itself as part of the larger community and it has been extra sensitive to its responsibility to our society. The latest example of its social concern was seen during the initial phase of the pandemic. Rising to the challenge of containing the virus, the IIT Delhi initiated important research and development projects. It designed, developed rapid antigen test kits, PPEs, antimicrobial fabrics, high-efficiency face masks, and low-cost ventilators, among other things.
President Murmu stressed the need to make the institutes adaptable to the future, pointing to the fact that climate change poses a serious challenge.
Looking towards 2047, the climate change poses a serious challenge. As a developing country with a high population base, our energy requirement for economic growth is very high. Hence, we need to shift from fossil fuels to renewable energy. India, as you are aware, has taken a praiseworthy lead in the international stage in promoting solar energy. In the years to come, as the world anxiously looks for technological solutions to environmental challenges, I trust India's young engineers and scientists will help humankind achieve a breakthrough.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has termed the induction of fully made-in-India aircraft carrier INS Vikrant as a historic day for India. Sharing a video on his Twitter handle today, Mr. Modi said words could not describe the feeling of pride that he felt yesterday when he was on board INS Vikrant.
Vikrant विशाल है, विराट है, विहंगम है। विक्रांत विशिष्ट है, विक्रांत विशेष भी है। विक्रांत केवल एक युद्धपोत नहीं है, ये 21वीं सदी के भारत के परिश्रम, प्रतिभा, प्रभाव और प्रतिबद्धता का प्रमाण है। यदि लक्ष्य दुरंत है, यात्राएं दिगंत है, समंदर और चुनौतियां अनंत है, तो भारत का उत्तर है विक्रांत।
With the commissioning of INS Vikrant, India has entered into a select band of nations having niche capability to indigenously design and build an aircraft carrier. The carrier is equipped with the latest state-of-the-art equipment and systems.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah today said that the nature of the Zonal Council has changed in the last 8 years under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He said the number of meetings held by the councils has increased significantly. Mr. Shah was speaking at the 30th meeting of the Southern Zonal Council at Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala today. The Home Minister is the chairman of the Southern Zonal Council, comprising Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Puducherry, Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. During the meeting, Mr. Shah said after becoming the Prime Minister in 2014, Mr. Modi started various schemes for the upgradation of major ports in the coastal states. A total of 26 issues were discussed in the 30th Southern Zonal Council meeting, out of which 9 were resolved and 17 issues were reserved for further consideration. The Union Home Minister urged Andhra Pradesh and Telangana to mutually resolve their pending issues. The main objectives of the Zonal Council meeting were the amicable settlement of disputes between the centre and the states and interstate disputes through mutual agreement and regional cooperation, saying it will not only benefit the people of their states but also lead to all-round development of the entire southern region. He also called upon all states of the Southern Zonal Council to explore a joint solution to the issues related to the sharing of waters. Stating that Home Ministry has tried a crackdown on the problem of narcotics, Mr. Shah said the states should hold regular meetings of the Narco Coordination Centre and take them to the district level. Later in the evening, Union Home Minister Amit Shah addressed the conference organised by BJP's Scheduled Caste Morcha in Thiruvananthapuram. Mr. Shah said the NDA government is dedicated to the welfare of oppressed and deprived sections of the society.
2014 में जब देश की महान जनता ने मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में भारतीय जनता पार्टी को सरकार बनाने का मौका दिया, मोदी जी पहली बार प्रधानमंत्री बने और जब पार्लियामेंट में जाते थे, पार्लियामेंट की सीढ़ियों को, वो भूमि को माथे से लगाकर उन्होंने कहा था कि ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार दलितों की है, गरीबों की है, पिछड़ों की है। और मोदी जी ने इस बात को चरितार्थ करते हुए देश के 60 करोड़ दलित, आदिवासी, गरीब और पिछड़े समाज के व्यक्तियों को उनके जीवन स्तर को उठाने का काम नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने 8 साल के अंदर किया।
Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare Dr. Mansukh Mandavia has emphasized on Jan Bhagidari to encourage people to come forward for organ donation. The minister said it is not possible for the government or NGOs alone to convince people for organ donation. Dr. Mandavia stated this while inaugurating Swasth Sabal Bharat Conclave virtually in the presence of Sikkim Governor Ganga Prasad in New Delhi today. The purpose of the conclave was to discuss the present situation of body organ eye donation in India and find solutions to the challenges ahead.
India has surpassed the United Kingdom to become the world's 5th biggest economy. In a tweet, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said the International Monetary Fund's own forecasts show India overtaking the UK in dollar terms on an annual basis this year. This has put India, the Asian powerhouse, just behind the US, China, Japan and Germany. Ms. Sitharaman said a decade ago India ranked 11th among the largest economies while the UK was 5th. Talking exclusively to AIR News economic analyst A.K. Bhattacharya said if the robust growth continued within few years, India could be the 3rd largest economy in the world.
India is now the fifth largest economy, which would mean the total size of the economy, and in terms of some sort of satisfaction that you may soon race past Germany. Now Germany right now is around $4.2 trillion. India is right now around $3.5 trillion. So maybe it will take another couple of years or maybe a little more to race past Germany, and then India becomes the fourth largest economy. And then scaling past Japan would not be that big a problem because Japan is not very far ahead. So in the next maybe 5 or 6 years, if we continue to grow at the current pace, India may well become the third largest economy.
The government has said the country's overall exports will cross $750 billion this year. Last year, it was at the level of $676 billion. Briefing reporters in New Delhi, Commerce Secretary B.V.R. Subramaniam said goods exports are expected to touch $450 billion, while exports in the service sector will reach $300 billion this year. Giving details of exports data, Mr. Subramaniam said exports in August this year remained flat at $33 billion, while during the months of April to August, the exports stood at $192 billion, up by 17.1% compared to last year.
We will have to keep pushing into newer markets and sustain that momentum. Now, what is the reason for the flat growth in exports? You must understand that because of inflation, to ensure controlling inflation in India and ensure adequate availability of certain products, we have put some restrictions. You're aware that wheat has almost gone into a negative list. We have put serious restrictions on steel export as well as pellets. That has gone into a negative list. Some other products have also got export duties. Plus, iron ore also was put under restrictions last year.
The Commerce Secretary said imports in the month of August this year stood at $61.88 billion, registering an increase of 37% over previous year, while in the 5 months of the current fiscal, India's imports were at $318 billion, showing a rise of 45%. He said coal and petroleum imports are driving the rise in imports, but overall rise in imports is a sign of a healthy demand in the economy.
The other factor, as far as imports are concerned, about 25% of India's imports are consumer items. 75% is either raw materials or intermediates. So we are pulling in imports is a good sign that the economy is growing fast. So actually, a rise in imports per se is not a concern because it actually shows that imports are feeding into our domestic economy, which is growing fast. The counter is we need to push exports more, and I'm confident that is happening, and we see the totality. I think it's quite satisfactory.
Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today made it clear that Telangana is getting its due share from the central funds. She dismissed allegations levelled by Telangana ministers that the state is not getting its share. Addressing a press conference in Hyderabad, Ms. Sitharaman said transparency is the topmost priority of the government, which is being taken care of. Replying to questions, she exuded confidence that the GDP will rise further as the country has come out of COVID effect. All India Radio News has launched a weekly interactive program, Abhyas, for competitive examinations. It is aimed at reaching out to students and job seekers preparing for competitive examinations. The program is in Hindi and is broadcast every Saturday between 9:30 and 10 p.m. The 23rd episode of the program will be aired tonight. The topic for this episode is Geography. All India Radio News has got an overwhelming response for the show with questions received from across the country. Dr. Sanghamitra Sheel Acharya, Professor at Centre of Social Medicine and Community Health, School of Social Sciences, Jawaharlal Nehru University, will be responding to the queries of the aspirants. This episode of Abhyas will be on air on 100.1 FM Gold at 9:30 p.m. tonight. You can access it on Twitter at AIR News LS or on AIR News Official YouTube channel and also on the News on AIR app. You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. President Draupadi Murmu says IITs have proven India's capability to the world in fields of education and technology. Union Home Minister Amit Shah chairs 30th meeting of Southern Zonal Council in Kerala, calls upon member states to explore joint solution to water disputes. Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia emphasizes on Jan Bhagidari to encourage people for organ donation. Government to set up country's first ever night sky sanctuary in Ladakh to boost astro-tourism. 5 JDU MLAs join ruling BJP in Manipur. In Durand Cup football, Army Red beat Hyderabad 1-0 in Imphal. East Bengal defeat Mumbai City 4-3 in Kolkata. India to lock horns with Pakistan in Super 4 stage of Asia Cup cricket in Dubai tomorrow. Match between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan underway in Sharjah. And in US Open tennis, Daniil Medvedev and Nick Kyrgios enter fourth round of men's singles. In women's singles, Serena Williams bows out of tournament. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242।
मुट्ठी भर अंग्रेज और हमारे विशाल देश पर राज करने का स्वप्न देखते हैं, पर हम इनके स्वप्न को चकनाचूर कर देंगे।
निकल पड़े स्वाधीनता के पथ वाले, स्वतंत्रता संग्राम की सुनी अनसुनी कहानियों के साथ स्वराज हर रविवार रात 9 बजे डीडी नेशनल पर।
Welcome back to the evening news. In a unique and first-of-its-kind initiative, the Department of Science and Technology has decided to set up India's first-ever night sky sanctuary in Ladakh. It will be completed within the next 3 months. The proposed Dark Sky Reserve will be located at Hanle in Ladakh as a part of Changtang Wildlife Sanctuary. It will boost astrotourism in India and will be one of the world's highest located sites for optical, infrared and gamma-ray telescopes. Science and Technology Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh said a tripartite MOU was signed recently among the UT administration, Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council and the Indian Institute of Astrophysics for launching the Dark Space Reserve. He said the site will have activities to help in boosting local tourism and economy through interventions of science and technology. All female central government employees will be entitled to 60 days special maternity leave. The leave will be given in case of death of a child soon after birth or loss of a baby before or during delivery. The Department of Personnel and Training issued an order in this regard yesterday. The Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions said the decision has been taken keeping in view the potential emotional trauma caused due to stillbirth or death of a child soon after birth, which has a far-reaching impact on the mother's life. In the order, it has been mentioned that the benefit of special maternity leave will be admissible only to a female central government servant with less than 2 surviving children and for child delivery only in an authorized hospital.
In a jolt to Janata Dal United in Manipur, 5 of the 6 MLAs of the party have joined the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party BJP. Now JDU's Muhammad Abdul Nasir remains the only MLA from the party in Manipur. The Speaker of the Manipur Legislative Assembly accepted the merger of 5 JDU MLAs with the BJP. The JDU had won 6 of the 38 constituencies it had contested in the Manipur Assembly elections held in March this year, whereas the BJP secured a majority of 32 seats in the 60-member state assembly. Recently, NDA's ally and Janata Dal United chief Nitish Kumar broke off ties with BJP in Bihar and formed alliance with Tejasvi Yadav's Rashtriya Janata Dal, the Congress and other parties to govern the state. Reacting to the developments in Manipur, senior BJP leader and MP Sushil Modi took a jibe at Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, saying states like Manipur and Arunachal have become JDU Mukt. On the other hand, Mr. Kumar expressed displeasure over what he called poaching of 5 JDU MLAs in Manipur by BJP. Talking to reporters in Patna, the JDU chief said it is against the ethics of the constitution. In Jammu and Kashmir, in a big success for the security forces, the police has arrested a Maulvi in Kishtwar district who was involved in passing sensitive information related to security forces and assisting a little-known terrorist organization, Kashmir Jabaz Force. AIR Jammu correspondent reports that the terror outfit was reportedly controlled from Pakistan. A major terror attack on the security forces has been averted with the arrest of the Maulvi.
The National Investigation Agency NIA today conducted multiple searches at 16 locations in 7 districts of Assam linked with a United Liberation Front of Assam Alpha recruitment case. Searches were conducted in Kamrup, Nolbari, Dibrugarh, Tinsukia, Sadia, Charaideo and Sibsagar districts in connection with the activities of Alpha, including recruitment of youth in Alpha, extortion of money and radicalization of youth for unlawful activities and their training at camps based across the Indo-Myanmar border in Myanmar. Official sources said during the searches, digital devices, ammunition, along with incriminating documents and literature related to Alpha were seized. The process to file nomination for 2023 Padma Awards, one of the highest civilian honours, is open till the 15th of September. The Home Ministry said the nominations and recommendations for Padma Awards will be received online only on the Rashtriya Puraskar portal. The award will be announced on the occasion of Republic Day next year. The Padma Awards, namely Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan and Padma Shri, are amongst the highest civilian awards of the country.
Over the past 75 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for the 1.3 billion citizens across the country. All India Radio is celebrating 75 years of freedom with a series, Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani Ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio.
Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani Ke Saath, reliving the journey of India since independence over the last 75 years with All India Radio. From 15th August, the series is being broadcast on All India Radio, 100.1 FM Gold Channel, primetime news bulletins and across all its platforms. Tune in to stay updated with All India Radio.
In today's episode, we bring you the story of the Bharat Ratna awardees from 1991 to 1999.
Over the past 75 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for the 1.3 billion citizens across the country. All India Radio is celebrating 75 years of freedom with a series, Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani Ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio. In today's episode, we bring you the story of the Bharat Ratna awardees from 1991 to 1999. In 1991, Rajiv Gandhi, former Prime Minister, was awarded posthumously. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, the first Deputy Prime Minister, and Morarji Desai, former Prime Minister, were also conferred with the award in the same year. In 1992, Abul Kalam Azad, First Minister of Education of Free India, was awarded posthumously, and Satyajit Ray, lifetime Oscar-winning filmmaker, author and composer, was also given the award. Industrialist, philanthropist and aviation pioneer J.R.D. Tata received the award in the same year.
I think that from a technological point of view, management point of view, Indian industry, at least big industry today, is a very different animal to what it was when I first became a director of Tata's. There is a quality consciousness that didn't exist in the old days. We mustn't forget that it's not so long ago, perhaps 100 years ago, when nobody would touch a Japanese product. Now they are the leaders, perhaps in most products, largely on the basis of quality. So, first of all, there is a big change.
In 1997, Gulzari Lal Nanda, former interim Prime Minister, was honoured. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, aerospace and defence scientist, was also conferred with the award.
Friends, education is a lifelong learning, particularly containing 3 components according to me. Number 1, learning to learn. Number 2, learning to live. After all, why do you learn? Learning to live. Third one, learning to survive. In difficulties, we have to survive also. So education should give us learning to learn, learning to live and learning to survive.
Aruna Asaf Ali, freedom fighter activist, was awarded posthumously in the same year. In 1998, M.S. Subbulakshmi, Carnatic classical vocalist, and Chidambaram Subramaniam, freedom fighter and former Union Minister of Agriculture, were honored with the award. In 1999, freedom fighter and close associate of Mahatma Gandhi, Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Narayan, Nobel laureate economist Amartya Sen, and freedom fighter and first Chief Minister of Assam, Gopinath Bordoloi, and renowned sitar player Pandit Ravi Shankar were conferred with the award. In tomorrow's episode, we will bring you the story of the Bharat Ratna awardees from the year 2001 onwards. Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke saath, can be accessed on @AIR News Alerts on Twitter, News on AIR official YouTube channel, News on AIR app, Facebook and Instagram handles. So tune into All India Radio News for Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke saath.
In Ladakh, Leh town, all is set to host country's first ever mountain bicycle World Cup called the UCI MTB Eliminator World Cup. Ladakh Police, in collaboration with the Administration of Union Territory of Ladakh and Cycling Association of India, is organizing this international cycling event tomorrow. Our correspondent reports that Ladakh leg of Eliminator World Cup is part of series of 10 professional races held in various cities across the world.
In football, Army Red defeated Hyderabad 1-0 in Durand Cup at Kuman Lampak Stadium in Imphal. In the other match between East Bengal, defeated Mumbai City by 4-3 in Kolkata. In cricket, Afghanistan and Sri Lanka face off against each other in the first T20 match of the Super 4 stage of Asia Cup tournament. Afghanistan were 139 for 1 in 15.2 overs against Sri Lanka at Sharjah when reports last came in. Earlier, Sri Lanka won the toss and elected to field. Tomorrow, India will take on Pakistan in Dubai after qualifying for the Super 4 stage of the tournament. Indian all-rounder Ravindra Jadeja has been ruled out of the rest of the Asia Cup squad due to knee injury. Akshar Patel will replace him in the team.
In tennis, defending champion Daniil Medvedev cruised into the fourth round of men's singles in US Open. The top seed defeated Chinese qualifier Wu Yibing 6-4, 6-2, 6-2 to set up a blockbuster clash with Australia's Nick Kyrgios. The 23rd seed Kyrgios reached the fourth round with a straight sets victory over American wildcard JJ Wolf. The thrilling fourth round clash will take place tomorrow. In women's singles, Serena Williams was knocked out of the tournament. She lost a three-set thriller 7-5, 6-7, 6-1 against Ajla Tomljanovic of Australia in the third round.
Now let us have a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi is expected to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Mumbai is likely to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Kolkata expected to have a partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Srinagar and Muzaffarabad are expected to have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Gilgit will have a partly cloudy sky. In the south, Hyderabad will experience generally cloudy sky with light rain. Imphal, Aizawl, Shillong, Gangtok, Kohima and Itanagar will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. President Draupadi Murmu says IITs have proven India's capability to the world in fields of education and technology. Union Home Minister Amit Shah chairs 30th meeting of Southern Zonal Council in Kerala, calls upon member states to explore joint solution to water disputes. Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia emphasizes on Jan Bhagidari to encourage people for organ donation. Government to set up country's first ever night sky sanctuary in Ladakh to boost astro-tourism. 5 JDU MLAs join ruling BJP in Manipur. In Durand Cup football, Army Red beat Hyderabad 1-0 in Imphal. East Bengal defeat Mumbai City 4-3 in Kolkata. India to lock horns with Pakistan in Super 4 stage of Asia Cup cricket in Dubai tomorrow. Match between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan underway in Sharjah. And in US Open tennis, Daniil Medvedev and Nick Kyrgios enter fourth round of men's singles. In women's singles, Serena Williams bows out of tournament. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.